Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Deception by the Means of Those Miracles. And pretty much this is going into the mark of the beast. This is going into Esau's technology. This is going into how these devils are able to manipulate the people on the planet by the gift that they were given through this technology that they've received. Now you have people out there that are all enamored with these cell phones and smartphones. Vocab, talking about there's nothing new under the sun, and he points to a cell phone, which shows he's not spiritually connected to the scriptures, because the cell phone is nothing more, as Elder Pastor goes into, is nothing more than the Urim and the Thummim, which are images that were portrayed on those stones of different judgments that had taken place whenever no one was there to witness, what took place in that particular crime or infraction or whatever the case is. The Most High would have the Levite priests set up to be able to go into the Thummim and the Urim, or the Urim and the Thummim, and ask the Most High, what took place, and the Lord would actually show them what happened. It's no different than your TV screen or these different screens, your cell phones, tablets, whatever you have. It's the same technology which the Most High allowed this devil to use. Now the word Urim and Thummim is Awarium, which is lights, and Thamayim, which is perfection. So lights and perfection, because it would give the actual events that happened so that the priests could formulate a better judgment, because they didn't have, all of the facts and the events that took place. Well, this devil used that same technology now, and he advanced it through these computers and cell phones and all of that. And the mark of the beast is nothing more than a part of that system, a part of that technology. And this is why, if you notice, more and more, if you've been paying attention, whenever you go to these different stores, you have you have half of the store now is self-checkout, and then you may have a few actual cashiers, because they're trying to phase the cashiers out, because they're pushing everything to go global, global digital currency. Now, when you go to when you used to go to these different self-checkouts anyway, pretty much all of them worked off of cash. You could use cash or your debit card or credit card or whatever the case is. And then they started limiting the ones that you could use cash at. Now it's getting to the point where some places you go, you can't even use cash in them self-checkouts, because they're phasing cash out to bring in this digital global currency, so that everything can be connected online, so that it will be easier to transition from the current money to the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, which no man will be able to buy or sell in this up and coming system unless they have that microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So this is why the Apostle Paul wrote to the Thessalonians and other of the Israelites back then, concerning this great deception that was taking place. See, back then, they didn't have the infrastructure or the thought of the microchip. That was something to be set up for the future. But what the Apostle Paul said in this chapter, we're about to read some of it, that there was going to be a great deception, and he kept warning those Israelite foreigners not to be deceived, because there were a lot of deceivers that were going out and vain talkers that are going out into the world. So here in 2 Thessalonians 2:1, he starts off by saying, now we beseech you, brethren, meaning we're begging you, brothers, Israelites, fellow Israelites, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by the gathering together unto him, because there's going to be a lot of deception, a lot of false prophets claiming that they're gathering the sheep of the Lord to the Lord. They're using names like Jesus and Christ. They're using doctrines like plantation Christianity and different other forms of so-called teachings, but they're nothing more than deception. They're teaching another Jesus, as the scripture said. It says that you be not soon shaken in mind. Why? Because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to shake up the minds of the people. That's why they have the people in a constant state of fear, because they're trying to shake people from their faith to be introduced and to accept the so-called New World Order, which is nothing more than a demonic pagan worship. It says, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as at the day of Yahushua is at hand. So this rings true even to this day, because deception is still rolling around, and it's still prevalent to this day. And one of the greatest deceptions that's happening right now, outside of everything else we've talked about, is the money system, this global currency, this mark of the beast, which is the microchip, which they're going to introduce as a good thing, a thing of convenience, which, once again, to quote Elder Pastor, yeah, it's going to make things convenient. It's going to make things easier, but just because something is convenient or easier doesn't make it right. And that's a part of why a lot of people will be deceived into taking it, because they're going to be made to think and feel that it's the norm. It's just like getting an upgrade on your phone, you know, or getting an update to your computer. It's a part of the new normal. Just like now people have to wear face masks, you know, to go into a store, you know, to be able to buy anything. Well, eventually that's going to go with this mark of the beast, which is the microchip. See, the people are being conditioned now to be, you know, in subjection to whatever the government says. So it says, let no man deceive you by any means. See? So it said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except they come up falling away first, which that happened back then during 70 AD. And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. But now we're at the point today where the man of sin is being revealed, which are these Edomites, beginning with the so-called international bankers. Now, there's an article out where they're stopping, I'm not sure if it's the whole movement or certain parts of the movement, the so-called BLM or Black Lives Matter movement. They're putting a kibosh to it, so to speak, a stop to it, because not because of looting, not because of the fires, not because of the rioting, not because of lawlessness, not because of the burnings or the beatings, but because they spoke against the Amalekites. You see? Which shows you who's really in charge. So everything is being geared and centered around that whole thing. So these individuals that are in power, that control the world, they're pushing for that digital currency. And it's being done in a deceptive way because people are not even aware of what's taking place before them. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except they come and fall away first, and that man is to be revealed, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God. Here it is, the Most High forbid us from putting any cutting into our flesh, any, imprinting anything, getting tattoos or inserting anything into our flesh. Yet these devils encourage tattoos. These devils encourage, you know, people to get a microchip implanted into them. There's a company, I believe is out of Michigan, to where there's a law that the microchip is to be voluntary, which you know what that means. That means eventually it's going to be made. It's voluntary now, but it's going to be made mandatory. And a lot of people are going to be taken by that mark of the beast. They're going to take it willingly. But the ones that are, when they're going to really seriously bring the persecution is to those that do not accept that mark of the beast. Those are the ones that are in danger of being, you know, persecuted and put to death for not taking that chip, because the masses of the people are going to take the chip. They're already ready for it. Their food. They already a plate of food already packed up, nice and neat on a plate. It's served up. They're already served up plates. You know, but the ones that are going to have a problem with it are the ones that fight against it. So it says, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And this infrastructure that they have with the 5G, with everything being digitalized, is all a part of that mark of the beast system. But the mark of the beast itself is going to be the microchip, whether it's implanted in your hand, your head, or wherever. Now, this lesson is inspired by a Forbes magazine article called U.S. Moves Closer to Digital Dollar. And this is dated July 1st, 2020. It says on June 30th, 2020, the Senate Banking Committee held a hearing on the future of the digital dollar. The pressure to create a digital USD are mounting as China recently began testing its own digital currency. The DCEP, which will be included in popular applications like WeChat and Alipay. Of particular concern is widespread adoption of a digital yuan in emerging markets and in international trade. And that's where the dollar is going to. The dollar is going digital. It says the idea of a dollar-backed digital currency gained mainstream media attention. Oh, and that's another thing. Now they're saying that they're having a problem with a shortage of coins because there's so many dollars because they're pumping dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar after dollar, you know, into the economy, but they're not printing any coins. So they're saying that there's a shortage of coins in comparison to the dollars. So that's another reason why they're shutting things down. Now you got to have exact change and so on and so forth. But it says the idea of a dollar-backed digital currency gained mainstream media attention last year during the Libra Congress hearings, where Facebook introduced a new type of digital unit backed by a basket of currencies and commodities, because they want everything to be, you know, computer entries. No more handling physical money. Everything is on a computer. So if you act up, they shut your computer. If you act up, they shut your chip down. Admiral Russo mentioned that. He said that, you know, when he asked Nick Rockefeller about the whole situation, he said, well, look, if they act up, they'll just shut your chip down. That way you can't buy or sell, because they want total control, total domination, total subservience. Because remember, they want to be like the Most High. So they want to have sway and control over the masses of the people. And what better way to control them than control their finances, the ability to eat, their place to live, you know, the clothing that they can put on, so on and so forth. Although David Marcus insisted that Libra users would not have to put their trust in Facebook and that Libra was a decentralized currency, regulators weren't buying it and expressed concern over the long-term threat to the traditional financial system. On July 9, 2019, regulators requested a moratorium on the project. In December, Libra released a new roadmap proposing several digital fiat currencies deriving their values from the USD, which is the dollar, British pound, Swiss franc, and others, thus creating an efficiency layer on top of the current financial system. Users would be able to access these digital currencies through a wallet installed on their phone and potentially through WhatsApp, chat, and Facebook Messenger. So everything is going to be accessed through what? Through apps, phone apps. Because right now you can pay with your phone. You can, they have places where you can actually swipe your phone and pay for certain things. You can go to different stores and pull up digital coupons, so on and so forth. Which all that is leading to what? To the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. Distributed issues of the $1,200 COVID stimulus check were issued, created new momentum for the digital dollar and a more efficient financial distribution machine. It is no secret that many are still waiting for their stimulus checks, while $1.4 billion in stimulus was sent to dead people. Most recently, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Democrat of Michigan, and Pramila Jayapal, Democrat of Washington, introduced a new stimulus proposal of $2,000 per month to residents through the Automatic Boost to Communities Act, ABC Act. Under the ABC Act, Congress would authorize the Federal Reserve to create Fed accounts or digital account wallets, which would allow U.S. residents and business to access financial services through an app on their phone. And what do you think that's going to lead to? The mark of the beast. All of these things are just proposals, but really the bottom line is the mark of the beast, because all of that technology is in that one chip. You don't have to get no apps. All it takes is one swipe of the hand. Building on this momentum, the Senate Banking Committee held a hearing, continued the discussion of the digital dollar yesterday. Some highlights from the hearing include Senator Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas, stated, "The U.S. needs a digital dollar. The U.S. dollar has to keep earning that place it in the global payment system. Why? Because the world is changing. Everything is going online. So they need everything to go online because this is what they're pushing for. And all of these nations are working in cahoots. America's against China. China's against America. America's against Russia. Russia's against bullshit. They're all in the pocket. It has to be better than Bitcoin. It has to be better than a digital yuan." Chairman Mike Crapo, Republican of Idaho, expressed concerns of regulator oversight for stable coins. Charles Cascarilla of Paxos testified advocating for stable coins, stating that they address the antiquated plumbing of our financial system as well as financial inclusion. Blockchain-based stable coins allow everyone access. So see the antiquated plumbing of our financial system. In other words, the monetary system that's already set up with these dollars and these coins. Because everything, they're trying to move everything to being digital. Because that is the best way that the mark of the beast or the microchip works. And that's why they shut everything down to set up all this 5G technology so that they can have the infrastructure to best track and use these microchips, which is the mark of the beast. Now, I got a couple of precepts. Let's go real quick to the book of Daniel, chapter 12 and verse 4. And it reads, But Thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. And this book was sealed for a certain period of time. And now that we're at the end, the seals have been opened again. It says, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. So what is the knowledge that will be increased? Well, the knowledge that will be increased is this technology that the Most High gave these devils to set up, this infrastructure that controls all of the inner workings of the government, of the people. That's why you have surveillance cameras everywhere. They pass legislation. They have the surveillance out there. They have people wear masks in public so that they can get people's eyes, acclimated with these cameras, so that it will be easier to track them by their eyes, even if they're wearing a mask. It's all systematic. The movie Minority Report shows you that. You have different videos on YouTube that show how these different surveillance show different people, out there, and they know who the person is. They know where they live, their license number, and everything about the person. Well, they want to put all of that in a microchip. And the microchip is already here. The mark of the beast is already here. They're just pushing it along. A lot of people are volunteering for it. They're making laws to make it voluntary, but eventually it will be made mandatory. And the majority of people are going to fall for it because, like I said, Spirit had me say, it's going to be to them like an upgrade to their phone or an update to their computer or their Chromebook or their whatever, iPad or whatever they have. Keeping up with the Joneses, as they say. So now that's the technology that's being increased. Now let's go from there back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Now let's jump down to the 8th verse. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which are the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which will be the missiles and the lasers from the chariots, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, because they're following after their daddy, their spiritual daddy, which is Satan, spiritual demon Satan. It says, with all power and signs and lying wonders. And what are these power and signs and lying wonders? The technology that they have, known as the mark of the beast, which they will so-called enhance humans, because to them the Most High made a mistake. So they have the answer to enhance humans and to make them, better. That's what the whole eugenics program was all about. To enhance them, to make them, stronger, like the Bionic Man back in, I believe it was the 60s into the 70s, I believe the 70s. They had the Bionic Man, the Bionic Woman, the Bionic Dog, where they actually transform Lee Majors into a weapon, pretty much. He had bionic powers. He was able to move faster, run faster without getting tired. That was all a part of that technology that they received, which is all being tied into the mark of the beast. And with these chips in the hand, and especially the ones in the head, through Neuralace and Neuralink, they have the ability to tap into and connect certain things in the brain that have been disconnected, to where people are not able to walk. Whatever was severed, they're able to fix it, and able to allow people to walk again, to see, so on and so forth. So these are lying wonders, because to the people, it's going to be like, wow, this is a miracle. You mean to tell me I can walk again? I can see again? And most people are going to go for it because they don't understand that's all a part of the mark of the beast, which is through those chips. So let's go from there. I'm sorry, read on. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. So the only ones that are going to fall for the okie doke are the ones that perished, that are not a part of the elect of the nation of Israel, because they received not the love of the truth, which is this knowledge, that they might be saved. You see? And for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Yeah, because they're going to go for the okie doke. They're going to fall for this devil and his technology. And the technology is going to be so great and so amazing that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. You see? So now we're starting to really see what Yahushua meant when he said that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. Because the technology is going to be so compelling and so miraculous, you know, that people are going to be like, damn, I got to get with that. But the elect are not going to fall for it. So now let's go from there to Ezekiel 28:3 real quick. Just got a couple more precepts and we'll close out the lesson. Ezekiel 28:3. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Why? Because they've searched everything out. They've had their scientists and technicians searching all of these things out, finding out what's the warmest parts of the body, where this mark of the beast could be implanted. You know, searching the brain, finding out what stimulates the brain, how they can control the brain, what they have to connect to connect to the emotions, to connect to the mobility, the motor skills of the body. They've been hard at work. They are search a diligent search, and there's no boundaries to these devils. They have no boundaries. There's nothing sacred to them. So now let's go from there to the book of Revelation. Back to Revelation. Or actually, let's go to Revelation chapter 13. And 14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth. So how is this beast or these Edomites and this empire deceiving the people that dwell on the earth? By the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So they have the technology and they're deceiving the people by the means of these miracles that they have to do in the sight of the beast, because they're pushing this thing. Remember, all of these Edomites are in cahoots in the top, you know, and they're all working in a synergy. But eventually the Most High is going to break that up to where he's going to cause the European allies of America to come against him. But right now they're working in conjunction. It says, by the means of those miracles which he had, let me read that again, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Yeah, and that's why it says, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect, because it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be miraculous. It says, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Yeah, because they want everyone to bow down to that homage. Now, when we look up that word miracle, it goes back to the word semeion in the Greek. I know I'm not pronouncing it right, but you get the idea. You can look it up yourself. So miracles, one of the definitions was a sign, prodigy, portent, an example, an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. And what is going to transcend the common course of nature? Where somebody is born crippled or get crippled or can't see, or born blind or go blind, or whatever the case is, they're going to have the ability to bring those motor skills back by means of this technology that they have. And that's why they're going to deceive a lot of people, because a lot of people are going to want to have their parents come back from having Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's disease. You know, individuals are going to want to be able to see. Individuals are going to want to be able to walk and run again, you know? So they're going to go for this technology. They're going to allow this invasive surgery to be done on them so that they can keep up with the modern day technology. So now let's go from there to the same book, Revelation 16, and now let's go to Revelation 16 and 14. It says, for they are the spirits of devils. Matter of fact, let me start at 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, which is the Roman Empire, which today represents America, and out of the mouth of the beast, which is EU and NATO, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic Church. And all of them are working in conjunction to bring this out. Because remember, years ago, I believe, if not all of them, the majority or a number of the clergy of the Roman Catholic Church, in order for them to be there, they had to get that microchip. You know, this is the first time I thought about it in a while. You know, if I remember, I'll see if I could do some research into it to find out what the status on that is. But they're all working together. America, which is the revival of the ancient Roman Empire, the beast, which is EU and NATO, and the false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic Church. They're all working together to push this mark of the beast. They're all working together. And they're using their flunkies, like these celebrities, congressmen and all that, politicians, to push for this, to push the legislation, to push the propaganda through their media and through their flunkies. So it says, read that again. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, and they are the spirits of devils. They're demons. And they're working on the left-hand side. It says working miracles. And these miracles that they're working are what? Through this technology that they're pushing out there to push the mark of the beast. It says, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of the power Almighty. Yeah. So not only are they pushing the technology of the mark of the beast, but they're also gathering together all of these nations to go to war, which the scriptures call Armageddon, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat. So all of these things are playing out in prophecy, you know, as each day goes by. All right, so now let's go to the last precept I have, which is Revelation 19 and 20. It says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. See? So they're going to use this technology and these different agencies, these different groups to deceive the world to receive the mark of the beast in their hand or in their forehead. So let's read that again. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both are cast alive into the lake of burning with brimstone. And those that take the mark of the beast, if you get that microchip implanted in your hand or your head, regardless of whatever reason it is, you will fry in the lake of fire. You will fry when America is hit with them nukes. The Lord will preserve you unto that day to fry you with them nukes. You know? And when we see it through the scriptures and through the articles and legislation that they're passing, that they're pushing hard for this mark of the beast. Everything is pretty much in place. You know, they got the perfect crisis. They done shut down this economy. They done destroyed a lot of businesses. They're closing down all of these restaurants and bars where people are able to go and eat, you know, because right now they're on a fixed menu. And eventually they want to shut all that down because they want everyone to be totally reliant upon the government. Like back in the days, I forgot what it was called, but you had, you know, they would give free lunches. You know, the government would give cheese and, you know, this hard ass cheese that wouldn't melt. They would give all different type of stuff, you know, canned vegetables and canned goods and spam and all kind of garbage. They would give Jake. They wanted to go back to that so that everything can be rationed, like in the movie 1984. Whatever they ate had to come from the government. They had meat substitutes in that movie because meat wasn't around anymore. You know, they had something that looked like meat. It had the texture of meat, but it had no meat in it. And that's what you have these giant corporations working on this what's the word I'm looking for? This genetically manipulated meat. There was another term for it, but you know, they're trying to put that fake meat out there. They showed you that in the movie The Matrix. When Cypher was eating that steak, he said, I know this is not really a steak, it's not really that juicy, it's not this, that, and the other. But he said ignorance is bliss. Because what they were eating, that unplugged out of the Matrix, they were eating that slimy stuff that they were eating in order to survive. Because they couldn't eat the stuff that other people were eating because they weren't plugged into the Matrix. You know? So, you know, these devils are hard at work. They're doing their thing. You know, we just got to stay focused and keep on keeping on and keep on pushing this word until when they shut everything down, you know, and when they shut everything down and we can't go out here and we can't do this work anymore, then that's when the Lord is going to step in. You know, the scriptures say, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. This gospel of the word shall be preached throughout the four corners of the earth, then the end shall come. And we're at that point right now. You know, so with that, you know, I pray that your brothers have been edified. Until the next time I say, Shalom.